Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam to all the Vaishnavas listening to me. Today we will start from the 7th question of the chapter Love of God. Before that, let us offer our prayers at the lotus feet of Srila Gurudev and all our previous acharyas. Om Agyantimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांत श्री राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तत्कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितनाम पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। 7th question. What is the prayer of one who loves Krishna? Answer is, with my body, mind and speech, may my love for the reddish lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu increases day by day. Let me have unflinching love for the pure Vaishnavas. Let me have love for the ocean of Lord's transcendental qualities. Let me have love for the service of Krishna and the Vaishnavas. Let me have love for chanting Krishna's holy name. Let me love those persons who have taken shelter of the Lord and who are inclined to worship Him. Let me also love myself who am inclined towards Krishna, so that I may attain devotion to Him. 8th question. What is the most important object of life? Answer is, pure devotees of Krishna are the Mahajanas or great personalities. Love for them is desirable. We are the field into which the seed of love is to be sown. Try to capture love of God within your heart. Krishna alone is the only wealth in this world. The Vaishnavas are dear to Him. Love of God is the most important object of life. There is nothing greater than this. 9th question. What branch among the innumerable branches of the Vedas is dear to Gaurasundara? What is the goal of that branch? Answer is, the Vedic literature has thousands of branches. Among them, only one is dear to the Lord. That branch is devotional service to Krishna. Love of God is the fruit of that branch. There is nothing better than the love of God in the material world. Love of God is the only desirable object. 10th question. What is Mahaprabhu's weapon? Answer is, love of God is the Lord's only weapon. If that weapon is put to use, all obstacles will be destroyed and everyone will be happy. The living entities will no longer suffer the pangs of material existence. 11th question. If love of God is the eternally perfect object, why does attachment develop for objects not related to Krishna? Answer is, just as childless father does not develop affection for a child, an unmarried woman does not realize the affection for a husband, a benefited person does not express gratitude to his benefactor due to ignorance, those foolish people who are attached to objects not related to Krishna cannot understand love of God. 12th question. Which is greater, love or liberation? How does a devotee who has attained love of God live? Answer is, there is nothing greater than love of God for a living entity. Liberation is temporary and, when compared to love of God, insignificant. Among the many irrelevant fruits of love of God, liberation is only one. If love of God awakens while we are still connected with matter, we will find that we no longer appreciate our connection with matter. Those who have attained love of God are devoid of material association and full of Krishna consciousness. Glowworms hide when the sun rises. Similarly, the rules and regulations hide when love of God awakens. For a loving devotee, this material world appears as Vaikuntha. 13th question. What are the irrelevant and principal fruits of devotional service? Answer is, as soon as a living entity becomes free from material contamination by the strength of devotional service, he attains liberation. But liberation is an irrelevant fruit of service, not the principal fruit. Pure love of Krishna is the principal fruit of sadhana bhakti, and it can be achieved by liberated souls. 14th question. What is the difference between loving oneself and loving others? Answer is, universal love or love between people is simply a transformation of loving oneself. Love between spirit souls is the only ideal love. 15th question. Is it possible to awaken love of God without the association of saintly persons? Answer is, love of God is the supremely pure medium for exchanging spiritual reciprocation. Only the hearts of saintly persons are qualified and prone to accept this medium. Non-devotional hearts distract from it. Unless we associate with saintly persons, this medium will not enter our heart. Just as attraction and repulsion are opposite in magnetism, so association with sadhus and non-devotees are opposites. Their association pushes up in opposite directions. Therefore, if we wish to attain love of God, we should associate with saintly persons. 16th question. What is the difference between love of Krishna and love of humanity? Answer is, pure love of God is the root of all varieties of love. Uncivilized living entities experience pure love in a materially perverted state. A Western moralist named Comte instructed his followers to become a little selfless and to endeavor for universal love. Sri Mahaprabhu taught everyone to cultivate pure transcendental love of God. Comte, a materialist, tried to expand the materially perverted form of pure love instead. The living entity finds no benefit in following Comte. His teachings instructs us to give up our iron shackles for gold ones. To relish pure love of God, Mahaprabhu taught the living entities about Sri Radha Krishna's pastimes. 17th question. What is the inconceivable influence of love of Krishna? Answer is, love of Krishna is such that it transforms happiness into distress and distress into happiness. 18th question. What are the eternal Rasalila pastimes of Krishna? What is the nature of pure love? Answer is, a giant object attracts a tiny object. The sun, a gigantic object, attracts other planets and satellites towards it. But to remain apart from the sun, the planets and satellites move in a circle. Moreover, the speed and attraction between the planets keep them in orbit. As we understand things in this perverted world, we should understand things in the spiritual world. The transcendental personality who enjoys his pastimes in Vrindavana is the sun of the spiritual world. The living entities are his associates. Lord Krishna attracts the living entities on the principle of love. Because of their independent nature, the living entities try to remain apart from him. Still, the attraction forcefully pulls the living entities and brings them towards Krishna. Although the tiny living entities are defeated, they circle around the sun, Krishna. This is Krishna's eternal Rasalila. The companions who belong to his internal potency are particularly close to him, and the companions who have attained perfection through sadhana are a little distant. Krishna's transcendental pastimes have the nature of pure love. 19th question. What are the primary symptoms of pure love? Answer is, according to its natural tendency, iron is attracted towards a magnet when it enters the magnetic field. Similarly, the minute spirit souls display their natural inclination towards Krishna, the Supreme Consciousness, when they are fully Krishna conscious. This inclination towards Krishna is the primary symptom of pure love. 20th question. What is the difference between love of God and love for material objects? Answer is, the difference between love for matter and love for Krishna is seen when the loving propensity transcends matter and become purely inclined towards Krishna. When that propensity is deviated towards material enjoyment, it is love for matter or attachment for material objects. 21st question. Is conjugal rasa enjoyable for the living entities in the material world? Answer is, according to Mahaprabhu, the living entities who have taken birth in the material world should relish the mood of separation, vipralambha rasa. 22nd question. Do the devotees who relish the mellows of devotional service respect anything other than the happiness of chanting Krishna's holy name? Answer is, Yoga Shruti, Upapatti, Nirjana Vana, Dhyanadhva Sambhavita, Swarjyam Praptipadya, Nirbhayam Ami Mukta, Bhavantu Dvija, Asmakam Tu Kadamba Kunja, Kuhara Pron Milad, Indivara Sreni, Syamala Dhama Nama, Dusatam Janmastu Laksavadhi. Let the twice born enter the fearless kingdom of yoga, Vedic study, and solitary meditation in the forest. Let them become liberated in that way. As for us, we will spend hundreds of thousands of births chanting the holy name of Lord Krishna, whose splendid dark complexion and yellow garments are like a host of blue lotus flowers blooming in a grove of yellow flower bearing kadamba trees. This verse was spoken by Srimad Ishwara Puri, a dear disciple of Srimad Madhavendra Puri. In this verse, he states that for devotees who can relish the mellows of devotional service, the happiness of liberation is insignificant. Instead, we derive our happiness from chanting the Lord's holy names, because such happiness is much more intense than the happiness of liberation. There are 8 types of yoga, beginning with sitting postures, breathing exercises, and so on. Study of the Vedas in this verse refers to the knowledge of impersonal Brahman contained in the Upanishads. Residing in a solitary place means practicing Vanaprastha. Devotees who are devoid of pride in their Varnashrama status and who are satisfied by chanting Krishna's holy name do not care if they have to accept millions of births. 23rd question. What is the difference between residing in Vrindavana in the self-realized state and in the perfected state? Answer is, Lord Krishna is present in the spiritual abode of Vrindavana as the fresh Cupid. The materialistic poets describe Cupid as an extremely mundane. Their explanations are full of abominable, lusty topics, and their poems refer only to the attraction of material flesh for material flesh. Being conditioned by Maya and identifying the body as the self, the living entities have become subordinate to lust. When a living entity understands his relationship with Krishna, he resides in the transcendental abode. This state is twofold. When we are self-realized but our contact with matter has not yet been destroyed, spiritual truth is revealed to some extent and we reside in Vrindavana. This state is called Swarupa Siddhi. When our relationship with the gross and subtle bodies is completely destroyed by Krishna's will, we actually reside in Vrindavana. This stage is called Vastu Siddhi. A little more explanation regarding this answer is given below. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura considers the Brahma-bhuta stage in two divisions, Swarupagata and Vastugata. One who has understood Krishna in truth but is still maintaining some material connection is known to be situated in his Swarupa, his original consciousness. When that original consciousness is completely spiritual, it is called Krishna consciousness. One who lives in such consciousness is actually living in Vrindavana. He may live anywhere. Material location doesn't matter. When by the grace of Krishna one thus advances, he becomes completely uncontaminated by the material body and mind, and at that time factually lives in Vrindavana. That stage is called Vastugata. One should execute his spiritual activities in the Sarupagata stage of consciousness. He should also chant the Chinmayi Gayatri, the spiritual mantras Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya or Klim Krishnaya Govindaya Gopi Jana Vallabhaya Swaha and Klim Kama Devaya Vidmahe Pushpa Banaya Dhimahi Tan No Nangaha Prachodayat. These are the Kama Gayatri or Kama Bija mantras. One should be initiated by a bona fide spiritual master and worship Krishna with these transcendental mantras. As explained by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Ji Maharaj in the previous verse and the current verse, Vrindavane Aprakarte Navina Madana Kama Gayatri Kama Bije Yanra Upasana Purusa Yosit Kiba Sthavara Jangama Sarva Chittakar Saka Sakshat Manmatha Madana. A person who is properly purified and initiated by the spiritual master worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, by chanting this mantra. The Kam Gayatri is the Kama Bija. As the Bhagavad Gita 18.65 confirms, one should engage in transcendental worship in order to be fit for being attracted by Krishna, the all-attractive. Man mana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskaru mam evaisyasi satyam te pratijane priyo sime. Always think of me and become my devotee. Worship me and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. Since every living entity is part and parcel of Krishna, Krishna is naturally attractive. Due to the materially covering, one's attraction for Krishna is checked. One is not usually attracted by Krishna in the material world. But as soon as one is liberated from material conditioning, he is naturally attracted. Therefore, it is said in this verse, Sarva Chittakarsaka, everyone is naturally attracted by Krishna. This attraction is within everyone's heart, and when the heart is cleansed, that attraction is manifested. In Swarupa Siddhi, we must practice sadhana. At that time, we continue to worship Krishna by chanting the spiritual Kama Gayatri and Kama Bija mantras. The all-attractive Krishna, who can enchant even Cupid, attracts everyone, men, women, and all other animate and inanimate beings. 24th question. What is the ultimate goal of life? What is the first stage of pure devotional service? Answer is, loving devotional service is the ultimate goal of life. In its first stage, pure devotional service appears as Shanta Bhakti. At this stage, there are no feelings of affection towards Krishna. 25th question. Why is ecstatic love of Krishna the crest jewel of all happiness? Answer is, In pursuit of happiness, living entities in the material world follow various processes such as logic and mystic yoga. Some kings, seeking happiness, wage war with one another. Other people in search of happiness renounce the material world and go to forest. Others run after the women and wealth, while others study art and sciences. In pursuit of happiness, some people reject happiness and learn to tolerate life's miseries, while others simply drown themselves in the ocean. Raising his lotus hands in the air, Lord Nityananda exclaims, "Come, living entities, give up the troubles of karma and janana. Since you are endeavoring for happiness, I will give you happiness without asking anything in exchange. In this happiness I will give you, there will be no trouble, loss, or pain. Just chant the name of Gauranga and dance without anxiety. There is nothing equal to the happiness I am offering. That happiness is pure, eternally ecstatic, beyond all illusion." 26th question. Are a pure soul's ecstatic transformations such as pranaya or mahabhava transformations of material nescience? Answer is Jivasya nitya siddhasya sarvam etad anamayam vikaras chidgata sashvat kadapi no jadanvitam. Some people say that unless there is oneness between the Atma and the Paramatma, there will be no pranaya in spiritual affairs. They add that Mahabhava is a false acceptance of material feelings as spiritual. Regarding these impure opinions, we say that the living entities' different emotions arising from pranaya are not transformations of material nescience. Rather, they are spiritual emotions. Vaikunthe Shuddha Chiddhamni Vilasa Nirvikaraka Ananda Abdhi Tarangas Te Sada Dosa Vivarjita. The pastimes of the pure spiritual abode of Vaikuntha are faultless and are like waves in the ocean of bliss. The word vikara, transformation, cannot be applied to these pastimes. 27th question. Where is the temple of love situated? Answer is the temple of Krishna Prema is situated on the highest peak of Goloka, Vrindavana. To reach that peak, we must first cross the 14 planetary systems of Karma Kanda, the Viraja river, and the Brahmaloka of Janana Kanda. Then we must rise above Vaikuntha. By gradually giving up attachment to karma and janana, we become eligible for bhakti. After crossing the various stages of bhakti, we reach the temple door of prema. 28th question. How did Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur instruct those who have attained love of God about progress on the devotional path? Answer is, O devotees of Krishna, you have surpassed the 14 gross planetary systems in the material world and attained bhava by following regulative devotional service. Now try to cross the 4 subtle layers of Haridhama, which is situated above the 14 planetary systems. Then penetrate the 2 pure layers of the Viraja, Brahmadhama and Vaikuntha. Thus, you will reach the border of Goloka Vrindavana. There are 5 brightly shining layers in Goloka: Shanta, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya and Madhurya. After reaching Madhurya, take the eternally perfect spiritual body of a gopi and enter among the associates of Srimati Lalita in Srimati Radhika's group. By Sri Rupa Manjari's mercy, enhance the Sthai Bhava in your own heart, and with the help of pure transcendental Vibhava and the Sattvika and Vyabhichari Bhavas, if you are attracted both to chanting the holy names and to someone who understands transcendental mellows, you can easily obtain the treasury of love to the point of Mahabhava. In this way, you should make your life successful. After considering your present qualification and becoming detached from your material body, you should earn the highest qualification of constantly drinking the nectar of the holy names. 29th question. What is the difference between those who have attained love of God and those who are fully enriched with love of God? Answer is, love of God is the living entity's ultimate goal. When bhava is fully mature, it is called prema. When a living entity makes further advancement and becomes inclined towards Krishna, he gradually attains the temple of love of God. There are thus two stages to love of God. The stage where the devotees have attained love of God and the stage where the devotees are fully absorbed in ecstatic love. Those who have reached the latter stage can have nothing more to achieve because their love for Krishna is uninterrupted. In the former stage, we are simply unalloyed devotees of Krishna. Full surrender is our general symptom. 30th question. Who are Prema Rudha Bhaktas, devotees fully absorbed in love of God? Answer is, while aiming for love of God, swan-like personalities quickly achieve their desired result. They are on the platform of love of God. Very soon such devotees become devotees fully absorbed in love of God and are called Prema Rudha Paramahamsas, Sahaja Paramahamsas or spontaneous Paramahamsas. 31st question. Can the symptoms of love be found anywhere other than in a pure soul? Is there any pure love in this material world? Where did the attraction and movement for matter came from? Answer is, both the supreme consciousness and the minute consciousness possess the symptoms of love. Pure love cannot exist anywhere except in a soul. The perverted reflection of pure love is found in the material world, a shadow of the spiritual world. Pure love cannot therefore be found in any material object in this visible material world. Attraction and movement, which are perverted forms of pure love, are found here. Because of that perverted nature, all atoms are attracted to one another and are transformed into gross objects. Moreover, being attracted to one another, gross objects come closer to one another. 32nd question. What is Prema Vilasa Vivarta? Inebriety or confusion in the enjoyment of love. Answer is, there are two moods in the enjoyment of love. They are the mood of direct enjoyment and the mood of separation. Without the mood of separation, the mood of direct enjoyment does not become inspired. This connection is called separation and it causes inebriety and confusion in love of God. During separation, the devotee still enjoys, but direct enjoyment is absent because of intense love. When Ramananda Raya sang a song he had composed, Mahaprabhu became overwhelmed by ecstasy and immediately covered Ramananda's mouth with his own hands. The song contained the words Radharani spoke, Srimati Radharani spoke while she was separated from Krishna. This proves that even while experiencing separation, the devotee can still enjoy. 33rd question. What is enjoyment like during separation? Answer is, just as there is enjoyment during loving pastimes, there is enjoyment during separation. In the mood of separation, one becomes particularly confused. The devotee might mistake a tamala tree for Krishna, just as we might mistake a rope for a snake. This confusion comes because of Mahabhava and it brings pleasure. With that, we complete 105th chapter and now start 106th chapter. The topic of this chapter is samadhi or trance? First question. What are the various stages of natural samadhi? Answer is, when a spirit soul practices natural samadhi, he progressively realizes the following subjects. First, himself. Second, the insignificance of the self. Third, the supreme shelter. Fourth, the relationship between the shelter and the sheltered. Fifth, the beauty of the qualities, activities and form of the shelter. Sixth, the relationships among the sheltered. Seventh, the abode of the shelter and the sheltered. Eighth, the absolute time factor. Ninth, the various moods of sheltered. 10th, the eternal pastimes between the shelter and the sheltered. 11th, the energies of the shelter. 12th, the advancement and degradation of the sheltered by the energies of the shelter. 13th, by the illusion of the degraded sheltered. 14th, the cultivation of devotional service for restoration of the degraded sheltered. And 15th, the degraded sheltered regaining their constitutional position through devotional service. These 15 subjects as well as other inconceivable truths are realized in samadhi. Second question. What is the difference between the Janani's artificial samadhi and the Vaishnava's absolute samadhi? Answer is, there are two types of samadhi, artificial and absolute. Devotees accept natural samadhi as absolute and fabricated samadhi as artificial, regardless of how the Jananis define the two states. Because the soul is spiritual, we naturally possess the qualities of self-knowledge and the knowledge of other objects. Self-knowledge means we can understand ourselves. The quality of knowing other objects allows us to understand them. Since such qualities are constitutional to the living entities, why should we doubt that natural samadhi is absolute? A living entity does not need to take shelter of another instrument in order to understand the supreme object. This samadhi is faultless. Third question. How does the conclusion of devotional service manifest in the Acharya's hearts? Answer is, Samudra sosanam renor yatha na ghatate vachit tatha me tattva nirdesho mudhasya shudra chetasa kintu me hadaye hopi purusa syama sundara sfuran samadhisat karyam etat tattva nirupanam. Just as a particle of dust cannot absorb the ocean, a foolish person like me cannot understand truth. Although a living entity is never able to understand truth with his small intelligence, a blackish personality with the form of pure consciousness has appeared in my heart and engaged me in the work of understanding truth. For this reason, I have boldly taken up this work. With that, we finish 106th chapter and now start 107th chapter. The topic of this chapter is self-realization and the achievement of perfection. First question. How many types of liberation are there for devotees and what are their characteristics? Answer is, there are two kinds of liberation for devotees, Sarupa Mukti and Vastu Mukti. Liberation personified begins to serve those who by the strength of devotional service have realized their constitutional position in the material world. This state is called Sarupa Mukti. When by the mercy of Krishna such devotees give up their bodies, they attain Vastu Mukti, that is ultimate liberation. Second question. When do we achieve Apanadasa and Swarupa Siddhi? Answer is, a devotee reaches Apanadasa when he gradually remembers the Lord's holy name, meditates on the Lord's form, qualities and pastimes, and absorbs himself in the mellows of Krishna by entering into Lord's pastimes. In this state, he meditates on Krishna's eternal pastimes 24 hours a day. When a devotee is fully absorbed in this state, he attains Swarupa Siddhi. Third question. When do we feel happy to serve Sri Radha Krishna, and when will the Lord's transcendental pastimes manifest in our heart? Answer is, in the state of Apanadasa, from time to time, a devotee resides in Vraja, in his constitutional position. There is great pleasure in serving Radha Krishna. When we are situated on this level of self-realization, what to speak of such pleasure? We will often see the abode of Vraja and remain there in our constitutional position, relishing the Lord's transcendental pastimes. Fourth question. After crossing Asakti, when do we attain self-realization? Answer is, even though we surpass Asakti, we will remain in contact with matter as long as we possess a subtle body. However, by Krishna's mercy, the subtle body can be quickly destroyed. Contact with matter is an impediment. As long as this impediment is present, a living entity will not attain Vastu Siddhi, which is ultimate perfection. As soon as we attain Prema, however, our constitutional position will awaken and we will become eligible to achieve Rasa. Fifth question. What is Swarupa Siddhi? What is its relationship with Sambandha, Abhideya and Prayojana? Answer is, realization of the absolute truth is called Swarupa Siddhi. Another name of this is Sambandha Janana, knowledge of our relationship with the Lord. When knowledge of our relationship with the Lord awakens, we begin to practice Abhideya and cultivate love of God. Then we can attain Prayojana, love of God itself. Sixth question. What state do we attain when we become perfect in devotional service? Answer is, there are two kinds of perfection in devotional service, Swarupa Siddhi and Vastu Siddhi. When we are situated in Swarupa Siddhi, we see Goloka in Gokula. When we are situated in Vastu Siddhi, we see Gokula in Goloka. Seventh question. What is the ultimate goal of karma? Answer is, the goal of karma is to become free from fruitive activities. Any other goals presented regarding karma have been spoken only to create a taste for fruitive activities. Eighth question. What is Vastu Siddhi? Answer is, by Krishna's mercy, when we attain a spiritual body after giving up our material body and become an associate in the Lord's Vraja pastimes, we will have achieved Vastu Siddhi. This is the ultimate goal of chanting the Lord's holy names. Ninth question. What is the meaning of the phrase entering into the Lord's eternal pastimes? Answer is, while performing bhajana, we will see Krishna face to face, and by the sudden desire of the Lord, our gross and subtle bodies will be vanquished. As soon as our material body will be composed of 5 gross material elements is destroyed, our subtle body, mind, intelligence and false ego will be destroyed. At that time, our pure spiritual body will manifest and we will begin to serve their Lordship Radha and Krishna in the spiritual abode. This is called entering into the Lord's eternal pastimes. 10th question. Is it possible to reside in the material world after attaining Vastu Siddhi? Answer is, when we attain Vastu Siddhi, we can no longer stay in the material world. A devotee then lives only in the transcendental world. 11th question. What does a Mahabhagavata realize when he attains perfection? Answer is, when will I beg food from the house of dog eaters and eat? When will I drink water from the Ganges? When will I roll on the ground in the forest near the bank of Ganges while singing Krishna's names? 12th question. How does a living devotee feel separation from Radha Krishna, from Sri Radha, who is his life and soul? Answer is, If I give up Sri Radhika's lotus feet for a moment, I fall unconscious. For Radhika's sake, I am prepared to die hundreds of times. I have no problem tolerating such distress. 13th question. What is the mentality of a servant of Sri Radha? Answer is, I cannot tolerate Sri Radhika's distress caused by her separation from Krishna. My only happiness is to see Radha and Krishna together. To accomplish this, I can even give up my life. 14th question. What does Sri Bhaktivinoda say regarding partiality to Sri Radhika? Answer is, let anyone give up the side of Radha and live as they want, always remaining partial to Radhika. I will never look at the face of such people. With that, we finish today's session. We'll continue hereafter in the next session. My sincere obeisances at the lotus feet of Srila Gurudev Ji Maharaj and the divine couple Sri Sri Radha Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Desire God Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.